why would you continue to watch this crap?
Jordan, open, Chicago with the lead. Podsednik hits one to deep right center field. Back at the wall. This ball is gone. Podsednik goes deep. Freebay charges, throws, out! And the White Sox have won the World Series. To Richard, across the cage, he scores! Here's who's going to look for third time in 6 years. The Blackhawks are Stanley Cup champions. Hugh Glevis throw to Rizzo. It's in time, and the Chicago Cubs win the World Series.
And welcome to Windy City Sports Talk. I am your host, Brandon Combs, joined as always by my guy. I don't know what is going on, why this button is stuck, but it's stuck. Joined by my guy, Ryan Fitzgibberish.
Woo!
Live Raw Uncut. That's what we are. Live Raw Uncut, baby.
For a year. For 1 year.
For 1 year. It's
For
our
1 year. The honeymoon is over.
happy anniversary, baby.
Yeah. Please don't call me baby. Unless we're in a swingers movie.
You didn't even get me a gift.
I didn't get you anything. I was supposed to do an intro. Full disclosure. I was supposed to do an intro to the 1 year anniversary show.
Yeah.
And my MacBook Pro crapped out. Perfect day for it.
Oh, so what you're saying is you have excuses.
Yeah.
Is what you're saying.
Very much.
Oh, okay. Perfect. I mean, look, excuses is kind of what you do. It's okay. That's why you've kind of spun the wheel of death every week.
You slow a spin.
I do still owe a spin. I still do owe a spin. We got to get back into the feel of it. It's been kind of crazy over the last couple of weeks. Me starting the new job, really the new career. And not really being able to focus as much attention on the show as I would like. But that is about to change. I'm starting to get more time. I've got more of a feel for what I'm doing with the new gig. Just picked up a second new gig. But
hustling.
It's actually good because all of the changes are actually going to create more time, as crazy as that sounds, because
crazy.
My schedule is, Friday through Monday work, so Tuesday through Thursday school, now Tuesday through Thursday more work at night. So
don't forget you have to wax.
The
wife's checking in.
Thanks, babe. Appreciate it. She's just jealous because it's our 1 year anniversary. Look,
Combs is proposing a threesome to keep it spicy.
Hey, Jeremiah, always in the chat. Look, hey, we could always have a threesome. You could come on the show. We could have a threesome. It's always keeping it spicy.
To get it back in here, yeah.
Yeah. I need somebody to please me. If Fitz doesn't do it.
Bored. You're already bored.
I'm already bored. 1 year, and it's kind of what I do.
You're doing all the work. I stay home.
Yeah.
Watch daytime TV.
Yeah, but hey, at least you know what's going on Ellen and Days of Our Lives and all that other stuff. So
Ellen got canceled, I think, or something. She wasn't being good to her employees. I guess
they canceled Ellen?
I think they did. She was not being good to employees or her employees. I guess that's a thing now. I just figured everybody in TV and movies were shitty to their employees. But
how did they cancel the president of the LGBTQ community?
Yeah, I know.
That's insane to me.
Anybody can be.
Hey, look, for those of you just joining us, maybe some of you guys are seeing the show for the first time because this is the first time we are actually live on Twitch. We've got to get this. I haven't gotten a show page set up yet, but we are live on Twitch under my Twitch account, Combsy3. So if you look it up on Twitch, you can find it. But it streams out there. So when people start, searching up sports on Twitch, they can actually get to it right now. So we might have some new viewers, some new listeners. We've got Bears and Vikings tonight. Look, the Bears are Bears are who we thought they were. They're actually not who we thought they were at the beginning of the season. They are not, but their schedule from today moving forward is actually kind of light. Are the Bears going to tank? Are we going to see what we saw last week? Are we going to see them dominate Minnesota like they dominated Detroit for 3 quarters and then just go away from everything that's working?
I would not put anything past this coaching staff. I mean, last week we saw a lot of that. We saw, Justin Fields go in harm's way. We saw them play scared. Doubting Thomas. I'll tune in for the Combs Fitz Fields pay-per-view threesome.
Oh, it's coming. More ways than one.
Yeah. Yeah, you got the stats ready, but before you get to the stats, I mean, Luke Getsy's got to keep his powder dry. They got to play like a 3-8 team. I mean, or to try to play like an 8-3 team, but play like a team that's desperate. I mean, you need some wins here. Put your ego to the side. Play fearless. I mean, like anybody else would play here. Play like Dan Campbell, for Christ's sake, played. Maybe not a fake punt.
Yeah.
On Thanksgiving and making Detroit look stupid again. But I thought Detroit was going to lose that game anyway. I mean, the Bears physically beat up the Detroit Lions 40 minutes on offense last week. So I mean, I didn't think they'd have much of a chance, and very emotional game last week. Usually there's a loss and really quick turnaround, but Dan Campbell made some bad mistakes, but at least he lives by. I mean, he's at least he makes mistakes aggressively, and I'm actually okay with that.
Yeah, and Jeremiah Murray says, then we got to see the Packers go out and do what we were supposed to. Well, that's because the Packers coaches didn't exactly fold it up and go away from everything that worked in the fourth quarter, like the coaching staff for the Chicago Bears has done, which is why I don't know. I don't want the Bears to tank. I mean, look, last year I was kind of for it. I'm like, hey, let's go out, try to get the number 1 pick. Let's do what we got to do.
Tankathon.
Figure it out, right? Because that's going to set your franchise up for the future. We weren't going to win anything anyways. Let's do it. This year you're getting the number 1 pick again because Carolina is god-awful. Bryce Young is exactly as bad as I said he was going to be during the draft. He is terrible. They just fired Frank Reich. Which I don't understand that move, kind of. You give the guy 11 games and then fire him on a team that everybody expected to be the worst team in the league, and you fire him after 11 games. There's got to be something more to that story. But you're going to get the number 1 pick again. It's a matter of what your second pick is going to be, and you're going to be in the top 10 anyway. So you've got to go. You've got to show me that you can win a divisional game. I mean, this looks bad. I don't understand how this coaching staff is still employed. Because, I mean, they haven't won 1 divisional game. Not one. They're winless inside the division. How you keep your job is beyond me. And now I'm hearing, and we talked about this earlier, I'm hearing that Ryan Poles is actually on the hot seat now, too, with Kevin Warren. And Kevin Warren might want to start all over with his own guys.
Yeah, I mean, and we were talking a little bit before the show, but just like pass him on. I mean, look at Tremaine Edmonds, what he did in the last game. Basically let a guy who's, not a great running back for Detroit, but who's,
where'd they get him from?
He's got 30, 40, not Montgomery. The name of the other guy always
Jahmyr Gibbs.
Jahmyr Gibbs. Yeah. You let him run over you. He's the little back. Montgomery's the try hard, run over you, slip out of maybe a tackle back. Jahmyr Gibbs is the fast, quick back. Like he's,
right.
And he runs over Tremaine Edmonds at the end of that game. That's your big middle linebacker pickup. So you could have 2 linebackers for the price of 1. Seems smart in the offseason. He's also taller and supposed to be good in coverage, but he hasn't been that good in coverage either.
Yeah. Jeremiah Murray says Frank Reich got fired mid-season 2 years in a row. How is that even possible?
I don't know. What I've heard out of there is he did not want Bryce Young. He wanted CJ Stroud. So maybe he's strutting around now and is like, fuck it. He
might have said that to the GM. Well, maybe if you got me the guy that I fucking wanted,
Exactly.
maybe then I wouldn't be so bad.
I don't know if he wanted a guy who's 5'9". I mean, he just looks really small. But anyway, you do that. You don't bring in the guy around Justin Fields. You can see it when we talked about the Jaguars before the game. You got Doug Peterson in there.
Yeah,
he sort of the quarterback whisper and give a soft landing to Trevor Lawrence after his bad first year with bad coaches stroking bartenders or waitresses, however that went down. But then they bring in Doug Peterson, and the Bears could have had Doug Peterson. Instead they get Eberflus, who's been Eberflusing. He's a defensive coach. You can't really say much, against him about the offensive side of the ball, other than he's a defensive coach. Why'd you bring him in? You bring him into a veteran team who needs maybe a better defense and already has the offense figured out.
Yeah, I don't really. Ryan Lawless checking in. What's going on, buddy? One of my very best friends in life says, nice booster seat. I don't have a booster seat. What the hell are you talking about?
Are you going to cry?
No, I'm not going to cry. But anyway, this is a good segue here. Doubting Thomas says Fields is gone. They're taking the kid from USC. Admit it or not, you both. So, look. I don't know what the Bears are doing in this offseason. I don't know what Kevin Warren's thinking. I don't know if Ryan Poles is going to be around. I don't know. I'm pretty sure that this coaching staff will not be around. But when you're talking about whether or not Ryan Poles is going to be around and Kevin Warren, I don't know what they're thinking. I don't know if Kevin Warren is looking at what Justin Fields is doing and saying, look, we can build around this kid. We need to get him the pieces. Or if they're having that, look, I need to bring in a new GM, a new head coach, and I need to let them pick their guy. I don't know what that is, but I do know that even if it is a new quarterback, it better not be Caleb Williams, because that kid, he does not have the mental makeup to be an NFL starter. I've said it before, this kid, and Jeremiah actually agreed with me on Facebook this week. This guy reeks.
They're not. This guy anymore.
Yeah, this guy reeks more of Kyler Murray than anything else. And so for me, I'm looking at a guy like if they do draft, I'm looking at Michael Penix Jr. I'm looking at Bo Nix because those two dudes look really special. The things that Bo Nix making that throw across his body the other night, downfield like that, it was an impressive throw. So if they are moving on from Fields, they're going to move on from Fields. But here's my question to you, Fitz, and here's my question to Doubting Thomas. Here's my question to Jeremiah, and here's my question to your brother, who I told better be on this show tonight and better have his listening ears on. If you are looking at the top quarterbacks in this league, let's say your top, give me your top 3 quarterbacks in the league right now.
Obviously Mahomes, number 1 with a bullet. He did some crazy stuff last Monday night. Oh my God.
Correct.
After his receivers could catch, they might be undefeated, but Mahomes 1. It's kind of tough after that. Maybe I go, if he's healthy. It's tough.
Jalen Hurts got to be up there, right?
Jalen Hurts maybe 3. I'd say 2, but he's just not healthy. He just hasn't been healthy all season.
You talking about Burrow?
Yeah.
Okay. So Doubting Thomas says Joe Burrow. I mean, we could throw so. Here's the reason I'm asking this is because I threw together some stats, and because people like to look at the numbers, they don't actually like to watch the game and look at what's going on, and they like to look at the numbers. Well, here's the first number I'll give you. Since Justin Fields has came in the league, he's got the 3rd best deep ball accuracy rating in the entire NFL. 3rd in the entire NFL. But beyond that, I went back and I looked at these guys' last 4 starts. Okay. In the last 4 starts, Justin Fields has completed 67% of his passes. And that includes the game that he got hurt against Minnesota. So he only got to play a half. Herbert is completing 62% of his passes. Patrick Mahomes is completing 65% of his passes. That's less than Justin Fields. Jalen Hurts, the only quarterback on this list that is higher than Justin Fields, at 68%, 1% higher than Justin Fields. Tua is completing 67.5%. Josh Allen is completing 61% of his passes. Okay. You look at yards. Patrick Mahomes in his last 4 starts has 900 yards passing. Justin Fields has 844 yards. Jalen Hurts has 876 yards passing. Tua with 1,085 yards. He's kind of tearing it up. And Josh Allen has 1,049 yards passing. So when you start to look at these numbers, what you start to see is that actually Justin Fields is ranking up there with a lot of the top 5 starters in this league. Well, here's where it starts to go a little bit differently, right? Last 4 starts, Justin Fields has 9 touchdowns to 2 interceptions. Herbert has 7 touchdowns to 2 interceptions. Mahomes has 6 touchdowns to 3 interceptions. Hurts has 9 touchdowns to 2 interceptions, which actually ties Justin Fields. Tua has 7 touchdowns to 4 interceptions. And Josh Allen has 7 touchdowns to 5 interceptions.
Is there little similarities there?
Oh, yeah, there's a lot of similarity there. The biggest similarity is that Justin Fields and Jalen Hurts actually lead the pack in the touchdown to interception ratio in the last 4 games. Let's talk about passer, because some people like QBR, some people like passer rating. People think that QBR is a made up ESPN stat. Others believe in it. Other people like the passer rating. Other people hate the passer rating. So I actually did both. Passer rating over the last 4 games, average passer rating over the last 4 games. Justin Fields is a 99.9. Justin Herbert is an 88.8. Patrick Mahomes is an 89.7. Jalen Hurts is the only one who's higher than him at 106.6. Tua at 92.0 and Josh Allen at 83.7. So let's go to QBR if you don't like passer rating. Average QBR for Justin Fields is at 58.3. Justin Herbert is 65.8. Patrick Mahomes is 54, which is 4 points lower than Justin Fields. Jalen Hurts is at 59.9, 1 point higher than Justin Fields. Tua's at 45.9, 13 points lower than Justin Fields. Josh Allen's at 53.9. I don't know what people are looking at when they start talking about Justin Fields. Whether you're looking at the numbers and you're just looking at the wins and losses and the fact that this kid hasn't won and not taking into account what's around him, then it's going to have a little bit of a skew to it. But when you start taking into account what's around them, what does Justin Fields have around him? He's got a wide receiver. He's got a decent running game.
Mooney used to be better.
And they have no offensive line. Justin Herbert has probably one of the better wide receiver cores in the league, has a better offensive line, has a better running game. Patrick Mahomes, he's on the Kansas City Chiefs. He's got the best tight end in the league in Travis Kelce.
One of the best ever.
He's had wide receivers throughout. I mean, this year you could talk about the wide receivers that can't catch the ball. Okay, that's fine. Jalen Hurts has so many weapons. They built so well around him that was the blueprint. Yeah, but we said at the end of last year that the Philadelphia Eagles blueprint is what the Bears needed to do last offseason. But they didn't do that. Tua's got Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. Not to mention a pretty damn good run game and a good offensive line. And Josh Allen has Stephon Diggs and a few other wide receivers, Gabe Davis.
He's pretty good.
Yeah, good offensive line, good run game. But all of these guys have lesser numbers than what Justin Fields is doing. And the reason being is because Justin Fields is actually better than a lot of people think. Justin Fields can play this game as long as the game plan. And the reason why I went the last 4 games is because that's when the Bears switched it up again, like they did in week 7 of last year, and went to the game plan that was for him. These numbers right now are the same numbers that emulate what happened after week 7 of last year when he was the 3rd best QBR in the league. after week 7 last year. These are the things that I'm talking about. So whether or not Ryan Poles, whether or not Kevin Warren are thinking about whether or not to build around Justin Fields, whether or not to do with Justin Fields, maybe they need to take a look and see what he's doing number-wise compared to the rest of the league. Because if you ask me, he's at the top.
I mean, look at the game, and then they say it's not sustainable. He can't run like that. Well, obviously, he's not going to run 18 times a game, but look at that Buffalo Eagles game.
Yeah.
Look at that game where Jalen Hurts, scores a touchdown running at the end. Jalen Hurts also said earlier this year when they were saying about injuries and running too much, he said, all my injuries were on scrambles. Justin Fields' last injury was on a scramble. Get sacked. So I mean, you could say that, yeah, but these guys are going to keep running. Josh Allen running. He had 2 running touchdowns, I think, at least. I mean, these guys are running a lot too. I think that's one thing they point to with Justin Fields. And I think another thing is the Buffalo Bills and Eagles can play fucking defense. When you could play defense, your defense is coming off the field. Maybe your offense can have it for a few more minutes. I mean, the Bears are starting to see that now that they could play a little defense, but they didn't in the beginning of the year. Remember all the third downs they gave up to Baker fucking Mayfield in that second game, or all the third down conversions they gave up to Jordan Love? Like, I mean, you look at a guy like Jordan Love, or what he has around him, he's got a pretty decent defense there. He's got an okay offensive line. He does have time to throw. Justin Fields has never had that much around him, at least from what I see. And Jordan Love, a guy who, I'm sorry, does nothing special. He doesn't do anything in my mind special. Someone said he had a cannon on the broadcast, and I almost laughed myself off my damn couch. Yes, he can throw the ball. Yes, he could throw the ball, but he has a mediocre arm. Like, what are we talking about? He's mediocre at running. I mean, his decision-making is mediocre at best. He has double-digit interceptions. Like, what are we talking about here? I agree with you, and I have been agreeing with you. I think Doubting Thomas is right. I think Justin Fields is done with the Bears, and I think that's just a clock thing. And that's, the Bears being all-time American sports idiots all time. I mean, not ever having a 4,000-yard passer, and every other team has it. It's
Jeremiah Murray says, if they keep Fields, do they have to keep the coach? It doesn't make sense, but there is a point to it, because if it doesn't work, you stick another coach with the quarterback he doesn't want again. That's where my question comes, Jeremiah Murray, is what are they thinking? What is Kevin Warren thinking? Is he thinking he wants to build around this? Does he already have guys in mind that think that they can win with Justin Fields? Because if so, then maybe that's the route that Kevin Warren is looking to go. One thing's for certain, and I've said this before, and I'll say it again, I believe Kevin Warren, I also believe Ryan Poles are two very smart football minds. I believe that we are in the right hands with those guys. And if the Chicago Bears, if the McCaskies, not even the Chicago Bears, I'm going to say the McCaskies, that ownership group that needs to just go away and fade off into the distance, if they allow Kevin Warren to run this ship, then we are in good hands. And I will buy into whatever he does. However, I still do believe, and I still firmly stand by the statement that if Justin Fields goes off anywhere else, we're going to rue the day that we allowed him to do so. We're going to be watching this guy play winning football, maybe winning an MVP, maybe winning a Super Bowl, maybe being a Hall of Fame quarterback with another franchise. We're going to see him be one of the best dual threat quarterbacks that we've ever seen, because that's the talent that this kid has.
And anybody who walks through that door, it's going to take a couple years. I mean, CJ Stroud ain't walking through that door.
Yeah.
And even CJ Stroud, you think the league isn't gonna come back to him a little bit here? The scouting isn't gonna find some tendencies that he has and figure him out just a little bit here, and his numbers are gonna kind of slide a little bit, and then he's gonna have to mature and react to the league again, just like every rookie QB has to do, every rookie player pretty much has to do, especially on the offensive side of the ball. So we have to wait another 2 or 3 years for a guy to be polished. Like, I don't want that. I've seen Justin Fields grow. Now let's cash in on the damn growth. But like I said, I think it's fait accompli. I think he's already done in Chicago, and I think one of the big reasons is that the coach will be gone. I don't know if Poles will be gone, but he's definitely made some decisions that are questionable.
Doubting Thomas says MVP for the Canadian League. Look, Doubting Thomas, I know you like to troll in the comments. I know you like to troll in the comments. However, what about the numbers that I just gave you suggest that Justin Fields can't be a starter in this league? What about the stats that I just threw out there show you that Justin Fields shouldn't be talked about, maybe not in the top 5 right now, but at least in the top 10 in best quarterbacks in the league? As a matter of fact, there was a list that just came out on ESPN where they ranked the quarterbacks in the league, and Justin Fields was at number 10. And I believe that that's the first time I've ever looked at an ESPN report and said, oh wow, yeah, that's actually pretty good. Look, you want to talk about his yards per game? I mean, he's averaging over 200 yards per game in his last 4. I mean, that's basically what everybody else is averaging too, with the exception of maybe Tua, Allen, and CJ Stroud.
And Tua is having an insane year.
Oh yeah, plus he's got one of the best wide receiving cores ever. Plus he's got Tyreek Hill, who's probably going to be the first non-quarterback to win the MVP in a very long time.
Whoa, you heard it here first.
I mean, he's got to be up there. Me personally, I don't think it's going to happen. But me personally, I think CJ Stroud should be talked about as the first rookie to ever win the MVP award since Jim Brown. Crazy
that he's this good. Crazy. He had another good game, even though they lost yesterday.
Doubting Thomas says, now I'm somehow arguing with Combs, and I only dislike Fitz.
I'm a notch up. Here I go. Took me.
Look, you're arguing with me about what is passing yards per game. I just threw it out there. Look, again, you've got to look at schemes. You've got to look at what's been around him. You've got to look at what they've done. They didn't open this up for him until that Denver game. That's when they kind of changed the playbook. And if it wasn't for the defense, then they would have won that game. They had a big lead in that game. Then they go out and they did what they did to Washington, and he throws for 300 yards, and he has 4 touchdowns, and he does all that, and then he gets hurt against Minnesota. And then he comes back and he does whatever he wants to the Detroit defense, and then they shut him down in the 4th quarter. That's not happening to guys like Justin Herbert, Patrick Mahomes, Jalen Hurts, Tua Tagovailoa, Josh Allen, CJ Stroud. They're not getting shut down in the 4th quarter by their coaching staff. And that's what I'm trying to get at. You've got to look at Justin Fields in his last 4 games, in those numbers, in the 844 yards. Remember, he missed a whole half of football because he got hurt.
Yeah.
So those numbers are in there. And his numbers are, he's only thrown for 60 less yards in 4 games than what Patrick Mahomes has thrown for. But do you know what the difference is, Doubting Thomas or Jeremiah or Jason out there listening and chiming in saying the Bears are going to lose 42-3? Do you know? Know what the difference is between all of those guys? They don't get shut down by their coaching staff. And they have teams that win. Winning cures everything. Patrick Mahomes isn't thought of as a guy like Justin Fields because Patrick Mahomes is on a team that wins. If Patrick Mahomes was drafted to the Chicago Bears in 2018, Patrick Mahomes would be the backup for the Pittsburgh Steelers right now. I'm telling you.
I don't know about all that.
Why? Because he would have been drafted to a franchise that didn't have one of the best offensive-minded coaches of all time. He would have been drafted to a franchise that has proven over 40 years that they don't build around quarterbacks. He would have been drafted to a franchise that has never had a quarterback that they drafted sign past their rookie deal.
He's having one of his worst years with Matt Nagy right now, so you're partially right. I mean, he's having probably his worst year, I would think, with Matt Nagy. I'd have to look at the numbers of him through 10 games, 11 games. He's probably having the worst. But I mean, look at that game. I keep going back to the Eagles-Bills game. End of the game, Eagles need a touchdown to win in overtime. Time is ticking away. Who gets the ball? Jalen Hurts gets the ball. Jalen Hurts runs in for a score. Game's over. Game is over. Bears, they need a first down to basically win the game against Detroit, and they hand it off to a running back who's been out for 5 weeks.
Shanna Stiso says she's just joining us, says, I'm just joining you cleaning up my office from work. Eberflus is the problem, but the way the McCaskies are running it is not working at all. You get what you pay for. Case in point is Justin Fields. I don't know which way you're going with that, but I just rattled off all these stats where Justin Fields, you take your any way you go with your top 3 quarterbacks, whether you go Mahomes, Hurts, Tua right now, or you go Mahomes, Hurts, Stroud, or you go Mahomes, Hurts, Allen, or you go Mahomes, Hurts, Herbert. And I didn't throw Joe Burrow in these just because Joe Burrow's been playing hurt all year. And right now his numbers are actually very eclipsed by Justin Fields, and I didn't want anybody to be able to say that. So the only numbers in here that are actually skewed are actually Justin Fields's, because he missed a whole half of football in those 4 games, and those other guys didn't. Not only did he miss a whole half, but he also got shut down in the 4th quarter of his last game. The coaching staff stopped doing what was working.
Yeah, I mean, it was evident all through the game. And then when they did, they had some bizarre, short, long option with DJ Moore, who is not open. I saw a couple people on Twitter saying he was open. And you got Tyler Scott going deep, which is fine. I mean, the kid's got some talent, but he did what a kid usually does in that situation, either drop the ball or slow up on the ball, and looked like he was overthrown. He was not.
In the last 4 games, only 2 quarterbacks in the league have thrown for the same or more touchdowns than Justin Fields, and that's Jalen Hurts with 9, same as Justin Fields, and CJ Stroud with 10. Only 2 other quarterbacks have the same or less amount of interceptions in those 4 games, and it's actually the same, which is Hurts and Herbert. Everybody else has more interceptions than Fields in the last 4 games. You're talking about Mahomes has 3 interceptions instead of Fields' 2. Tua has 4 interceptions. Josh Allen has 5 interceptions. Even CJ Stroud, who's having a great, phenomenal season, I just said he should be the MVP, has 4 interceptions in that time frame. Fields is doing things, but we're not paying attention to it. Why? Because the Bears continue to lose. And why do they continue to lose? Because the coaching staff costs them games. It's just the facts.
They turtle up.
Yeah. It's almost like they're afraid to win.
Like a penis in cold water. Like a frightened turtle.
Jeremiah says, this is the Bears doubting Thomas. We don't have chips, we don't have creams, and we burn the crops. Probably in response to Doubting Thomas saying cream rises to the top. At any rate, you ready to give these guys the world-renowned Fitzgibberish? That's what they came for.
Yes, I am. It's another edition of Fitzgibberish. You know what it is, a diatribe, a conspiracy theory, and an island in the middle of unapologetic. And I think we were pretty accurate today, but sometimes inaccurate sports talk. Yes, everyone, it is the NFL is Basketball with Traveling Volume 3.
Here we go.
You know it's America when there's a trilogy and Tom Brady. Tom Brady? Have you been listening to Windy City Sports Talk, and more specifically, my Fitzgibberishes? Because Tom Brady said this with your boy, Stephen A. Smith. Not your boy, but your boy.
That's my guy.
A lot of mediocrity in today's NFL. Yeah. I don't see the excellence that I saw in the past.
Why not?
And
why not?
I think the coaching isn't as good as it was. I don't think the development of young players is as good as it was. The rules have allowed a lot of bad habits to get into the actual performance of the game. Mm-hmm. So I just think the product, in my opinion, is less than what it's been. I think I look at a lot of players like Ray Lewis and Rodney Harrison and Ronnie Lott and guys that impacted the game in a certain way. And every hit they would have made would have been a penalty. Your coach is complaining about their own player being tackled and not necessarily, why don't they talk to their player about how to protect himself? We used to work on the fundamentals of those things all the time. Now they're trying to be regulated all the time. offensive players need to protect themselves. It's not up to the defensive player to protect the offensive player. A defensive player needs to protect himself. I didn't throw the ball to certain areas because I was afraid players were going to get knocked out. Mm-hmm. That's the reality. Wow. I didn't throw it to the middle when I played Ray Lewis because you knock him out of the game, and I couldn't afford to lose a good player.
Tommy. Another clip playing. But anyway, it took you long enough. And as you say, why has the NFL become mediocre? The rules have allowed a lot of bad habits. A good follow-up question, Stephen A. Is Stephen A. The A and Stephen A. is for ass would have been, do you think football is turning into basketball with traveling? Or basically LeBron James' go-to move for the past decade? Tom, why, since you got divorced, sir, if you can answer me this question, have you started to look like the crackhead from Breaking Bad?
Oh boy.
The man needs a sandwich.
Oh God.
He is. For
oh no.
Sake. Get him a sandwich or a pink taco or 1,000. Tommy Lukongi for more than just food. Giselle, leaving your ass. We didn't hear any of this mediocre talk when you were playing in the league all those months ago. Yeah, that's right. You played recently in the NFL. Did you forget again? Like that time when Khalil Mack was putting up your keister and you couldn't even remember what down it was? Were you saying this on February 3rd, 2019, when your Patriots beat the LA Rams 13-3 and a fucking snoozer of a Super Bowl? That Super Bowl paired the two worst Super Bowl teams in memory, and you were on one of them, the quarterback. If not for a Bears double doink, maybe Matt could have slapped you around in that Super Bowl instead of a couple years later. I had a reference to the double doink again. Oh no. Also, didn't you play in the same division as the Bills, Dolphins, and Jets for the better part of 2 decades? The Bills' record in the last 20 years, this is including them being in the playoffs the last 3, is 155 and 162. The Dolphins' record in the last 20 years, 144 and 173. And last but certainly not least, the fucking Jets' record the last 20 years was 133 and 89. That's pretty mediocre. You can sleepwalk into the playoffs, Tom. Anyway, we digress while we're digressing. Tom actually has a point. The last time we talked about this, we referenced flag football's rise in popularity to be included in the Olympics. Maybe that's what the NFL becomes. This time, our good friend Aaron Ludwig from the Dads with Bacon Network and Jordan Love apologist shared an interesting article recently on Facebook about this subject. The title, NFL to consider the rule change to eliminate hip drop tackle due to risk of injury. This isn't the WWE. Yes, Commissioner Roger Goodell, who is starting to look more and more like a melted boob candle with hair, and his cronies are looking to add yet another rule that favors offenses. What's a hip drop tackle, you say? I will try to explain it, but like most NFL rules, nobody will really ever know.
It's just a tackle.
Yeah, it's just a tackle. Rich McKay, the chairman of NFL's competition committee, whatever the fuck that is, called the hip drop tackle a cousin of the horse collar. What's happening on the hip drop tackle is, this is Rich talking, is the defender is encircling, tackling the runner, and then swinging their weight and falling on the other side of the leg, which is their ankle or their knee. When they use that tactic, you could see why they do, because it could be a smaller man against a bigger man, and they're trying to get that person down, because that's the object of the game. Well, thank you for telling me that, Rich McKay. But when they do, the runner becomes defenseless. Defenseless? I thought he was bigger. How does anybody tackle anyone anymore, Rich, if that is your real name? I don't think the hip drop tackle is the cousin of the horse collar. I think the hip drop tackle is what happens when two cousins get together and have a baby that lacks a chromosome. This is just the long, slow, glacial pace to eventually turn out to be flag football. And Rich or Roger, I'll tell you what I told my girlfriend when I was 16 years old. Come on, let's just do it already. That's Fitzgibberish. Combs.
I don't know what just happened there. I thought you might have a heart attack at some point.
My face was turning red, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, very very much red. Almost as red as my hair. But yeah.
What's happening, Tommy?
Tom looks great
for his age, yeah.
For his age, and for a guy who spent a career in the NFL, he looks pretty good. However, I will say, a guy complaining about a rule in the change in the game that was actually designed for him. These rules were designed because he tore an ACL in game 1 of, I believe, I can't even remember what year it was. It might have been 2007.
Oh yeah, that's what Matt Castle.
Yes,
great quarterback.
So he tears his ACL, and then all of a sudden they change the rules. You can't touch the quarterback. You can't hit the quarterback, and you got to do all this stuff. But now the hip drop tackle, I mean, that's basically a tackle. And they're like, oh, well, he's swinging all of his weight to the outside. That's because he's moving at full speed trying to hit something. And when he does, his momentum keeps going.
And he's most of the time the lesser athlete is the guy on defense, because who wants to play defense anymore?
They're making it to a point where it's going to be impossible for a defender to make a tackle without getting a flag. And that's what we're going to end up having, is instead of refs throwing flags, we're going to have players reaching for them. They're going to probably have a flag on the back of the side of a defender, one flag on the back side of a defender, and if you can see his numbers, you can't touch him. You have to grab the flag. That is what we are leaning to in the NFL. What we are leaning to is a non-contact sport. But what made the NFL great was the violence. We are a violent society. We loved watching the great hits. We loved watching Ray Lewis come over the middle and completely destroy a guy's life. We enjoyed watching who was the player who came across the middle, and Rodney Harrison just ended his career. I mean, how about the wide receiver there that went nuts from the Steelers, then he went to the Patriots. What the hell was his name? He's still kind of crazy.
Jackson?
No. Dude from the Steelers. What the hell? Not Hines Ward. Why can't I think of his name? Somebody will bring it up in the chat. But he went crazy after he got that hit, but we loved that type of stuff. We love that type of thing because we are a violent society, and we love the NFL because of the violence created in the NFL.
Antonio Brown.
But what we won't get into, and where the NFL will start to lose money, and where fans will start to disengage from the NFL being their number one favorite sport, will be when you start to take the violence out of it. And then all of a sudden, you've got the NBA without traveling. And all of a sudden, you've got Major League Baseball without being allowed to charge the mound. All of a sudden, you've got the NHL with not being allowed to fight. The things that make these sports and us gravitate to these sports are the very thing that you're taking out of this sport. And that's a bad business model. Very bad business model.
In other countries, I don't see big rule changes in soccer. I don't see any big rule changes in soccer. They tear a stadium apart, those psychopaths.
That's because when you just said that, those words hit a soccer player so hard that he fell down and started rolling around on the ground, holding his knee. But they're not changing the rules in rugby, and those guys don't even fucking wear pads. Those are men.
Yeah, not rugby. I mean, has Formula One changed? That's more of a foreign sport, I guess you could say. Do cars not blow up when they get into accidents anymore? I mean,
they make it a little bit safer with neck braces and harnesses and that type of stuff, and I'm fine with all of that. We've gone to the Speed Flex
live right now, or no? He's still dead, right?
Yeah.
Sorry.
You go to the Speed Flex helmets. You go to all of these different things. You want to wear neck guards in hockey. I'm fine with all that stuff. That's all protective gear. I'm good with that.
Yeah,
you want to get bigger shoulder pads. You want to do things. Maybe get some different braces, some knee braces, some leg braces, ankle braces, whatever you need to do to make players safer. Yes, I want my players healthier, especially the players that are on my damn fantasy team. The players that are in my parlay, like when I had Joe Burrow and a chance to win $15,000, then instead of having a 200-yard night, he only has 101 because he goes out with a wrist injury that the damn Bengals didn't disclose. Yes, I want more protective gear to protect my money, but I do not want you changing the game. I don't want you altering the game, because what we enjoy about the game is the same thing that you're trying to take out of it.
Also, it gives this false story that somehow you can protect players from really bad injury and still have tackle football, because you can't. Or you can save them from CTE, because you can't. Until they turn into woodpeckers, they're not going to be able to take those subconcussive hits over and over and over again. It turns their brain to plaque. I mean, it just does.
Jeremiah Murray, if you will.
One day we're going to be watching football and realize it's turned into gay porn. Jeremiah's had a few. A little too much cranberry sauce for Thanksgiving, Jeremiah.
Shannon says the NFL should hand over their man card. She also says all you get in soccer is shin guards and cleats other than your jersey and shorts. Brandon Moranto, what's going on, Brandon? Thank you for joining the show. Says, will the Bears break away tonight?
That's a good segue. That's a good segue. Brandon, thanks for checking in. He's a Bills fan. Probably dying a little bit right now, Bills fan.
It's a tough game last night.
Yeah, it was.
It was a great game.
I was rooting for him.
But it was a tough way to lose.
Yeah.
I don't know if the Bears will break away tonight, because I don't know if the coaching staff knows how to break away. They've had the opportunity. They had the opportunity against the Broncos. They had the opportunity last week against the Lions, and they just decide that instead they'd like to trip over themselves and just lose the game again. See, this is how Bears fans feel.
What did I text you yesterday? The Buffalo Bills are a talented version of the Bears.
Yes. The Bills players and coaches are cowards. It's exactly how Bears fans feel. Maybe not so much about our players, because I do feel like we've got a lot of talent. I feel like the Buffalo Bills have a lot of talent as well. Yeah. It's just got a coaching staff that just can't get out of their way. Now, at least the Bills over the last few years have gone to the playoffs. Granted, I mean, it's only taken them 13 seconds to lose one of those playoff games.
Yeah.
But at least they've been to the playoffs. They've been to the dance. They've got some semblance of winning. That's something that this coaching staff does not know how to do in Chicago. So I don't believe they break away tonight. I believe that the Vikings win. I believe it's a good game for 3 quarters. And then I believe the Vikings actually pull away.
Are you going to risk the wheel of death on it? Because I think the Bears win this game.
You think the Bears win this game?
Come on, Tina Turner.
We doing one game for the Wheel of Death?
Tiny Dancer. It's time to dance for money.
I'm in. Give me the Vikings, baby.
All right.
I'm in. Give me the Vikings. And then I can spin the Wheel of Death if it happens. And I will gladly spin that wheel for a Bears victory. I just don't think it's going to happen. Look, Hockenson and Jordan Addison. Jordan Addison's a stud. They've got 2 really good wide receivers there. And look, the Pastronaut, Josh Dobbs, is doing some things. And he's going to do some things that the Bears coaching staff will allow him to do late in the game. And that's going to be the end result. The Bears just they don't know how to win. It's a losing culture in this staff, Yeah, especially in our head coach. Our head coach shows time and time again that he doesn't know how to be a head coach in this league. He certainly doesn't know how to talk to the media.
They consistently get guys who aren't proven or aren't ready for prime time to be the guy to make those kind of decisions. Steven, Jesus, if you're going to have one competent press conference, you just don't have those guys. I mean, Jim Harbaugh says a bunch of dumb stuff a lot, but he does win a press conference or two. And he's a proven winner. Bring a winner in here. It doesn't even have to be him. Look at Doug Pierre. Like we talked about in the beginning, we started the show off. We talked about why the coaching staff isn't here anymore. Look at the Eagles and all the success the Eagles have had. Yes, they've won 2 Super Bowls and they've been to a couple. And yeah, they were at a lot of championship games where they lost, but very successful organization. The guy who just won a Super Bowl with them was fired. Doug Peterson was fired, and now he's not on another team where he's successful, but he wasn't good enough for the Eagles anymore.
Yeah,
because they felt he might not have been innovating, whatever they felt, or maybe his success was due to the fact that they had a really talented team back in 2017. So the Bears pass on Doug Peterson when he's available, and now he's doing everything he can to get Trevor Lawrence, who, Jesus Christ, is not, for me, he's not very good, but he has a lot of talent, can get it done. I don't think he's ever going to be a great quarterback. I don't think he's going to be top 5 quarterback, but he probably win you a championship with a team they're putting together.
No, I mean, look, I definitely
won with Nick Foles.
Yeah.
And Carson Wentz, who will never start on a team that wants to win again.
And I've got let me take this off real quick. I've got Shanna Stiso Trusk defending. Soccer is way more physical than people realize. Play with concussion and break someone's toes with your cleats because they stepped on your toes. Well, let me get to this for you here, Shanna. I want to play this for you because this is exactly what you get in soccer. I mean, these guys, this is a very physical game. Now, look at this guy. This guy went down. Watch how hard he gets hit. I mean, it is crazy. Look at that guy go. Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
Nasty.
Whoa, look at it.
For anybody that's listening, we're being sarcastic.
Is LeBron James is going to play some football or some soccer.
Hey, they call it football.
They call it football. Yeah. Look at how hard he got hit in the face there. I mean, look, I'm checking for blood and everything. Watch this guy go down. Oh God! Oh God! A bomb went off.
And he went down.
He went down after.
Is that when is this when the NFL turns into gay porn? Is this
is exactly what the NFL is going to turn into. Watch this guy get hit. Oh God! Look at that guy. That guy got tripped by the grass. Is that Daniel Jones playing soccer?
He better get another profession. Although he's cashed some pretty large checks. He's cashed more checks for doing the least amount for getting the least amount of results out of any quarterback in the history of the NFL.
Look at these guys go. Look at this. Oh God! 10 seconds after his face gets hit. Watch this guy go down. That guy at least looked like he got hit. Look out the side. Oh, are you looking? Oh God, I got.
Shanna is never going to listen to us.
He threw his hand at him. Look at him. He hits himself with his own hand.
And on Rumble, Shanna, when we get kicked off of YouTube.
I'm just saying, people that defend soccer, I don't get it because it's really not.
Ted Lasso's a great show.
Yeah, Ted Lasso is a great show.
Fitzgibberish on Ted Lasso. So
I don't know. What do you think? You think that the Shanna says the European professionals have started looking like a joke? I have played soccer. Well, look, I mean,
I'm sure amateur soccer can get a little chippy when you don't.
Yeah,
you're just in a field somewhere with a bunch of
like if I'm playing against Fitz, I'm certainly going in hard on a slide tackle.
I'll tear your fucking ACL.
I'm certainly going in cleats up, aimed at the knee. We're
getting to throat stabbing time period.
It's happening. It's happening. But what do you think? What do you think in response to Brandon Moranto's comment? Are the Bears going to break away tonight? You think the Bears are going to win? What makes you what in the last 2 seasons makes you think that the Bears are going to win tonight?
I actually think Justin Fields' injury was a good thing. I think he played a way more thoughtful game. There's obviously that play he steps up in the pocket, but there's other plays where he decided to run where he's having fun and he's dancing. And some people said stuff about him dancing on the field like the game wasn't over yet. You can only party when the game's over. Like, if you watched an NFL game in the last 60 years, I mean, especially the Bears, who did like 12 games into a season did the Super Bowl shuffle. They did an entire Super Bowl shuffle. The season wasn't even over yet. I mean, and we had people saying stuff about him dancing. I think he had fun. I think we're seeing the start of a player that's learned. I learned how to be more relaxed in the game, learn how to play his game, but add on to it a little bit. I think he's going to be the difference today. I think he's a better quarterback than Josh Dobbs, and I usually go for the better quarterback team, but I might be eating it. I might be throwing an egg at the back of Nicole's head.
I completely agree with you that Justin Fields is the better quarterback. I completely agree with you that he's going to have a great night tonight. But what I don't agree with you with is that this coaching staff is going to allow him to do it for 4 quarters. That's what I don't agree with. And Jeremiah Murray says that Combs is calling 3 seconds in an open gym game.
Basketball.
All day long. You know the rules. Get out of the damn paint.
Does he have a script before the show that he just like goes through?
I think he's just quick with it. I think he just comes up with the shit as it goes.
Yeah, I think so too. I think Doubting Tom. We lost Doubting Thomas. You got rid of Doubting Thomas. Shanna's gone. We have no listeners left. No,
I blocked Doubting Thomas.
Have a chance. I don't think this Vikings team is very good. They didn't show me anything when they had Kirk Cousins in, who I think is only a shade better than Dobbs, but better nonetheless. They haven't shown me a whole hell of a lot this season. I mean, the Bears made a lot of teams better, though. I mean, this was a 1-win team when the Bears first played the Vikings. Now they're 6-5. The Denver Broncos were 4 when they first played, and the Denver Broncos are now 6-5.
We shocked Doubting Thomas.
The podcast is still on. He fell asleep.
Shanna says she's still here. She's just finally eating dinner. Will you enjoy your dinner? The Chicago Bears tonight. If they run the game plan that they've run over the 3 out of the last 4 games with Justin Fields, that last Minnesota Vikings game aside where Fields got hurt, if they run the same game plan that they ran last week for 4 full quarters, the Bears can win this game. The Bears should win this game. If they run that game plan for the next 6 games, I believe the Bears can go 6-0. What? I don't think that there's another team in this league on their schedule. There's not another team on their schedule for the Bears that I feel like the Bears aren't better than if they run that game plan. I just don't.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard.
Look, do you know what the Bears schedule is coming up?
Let's read out the schedule. I'll wait for you to look up the schedule.
They've got the Vikings. They've got the Lions.
Lose to the Vikings.
I said, but see, here's what you're not listening. I said because I don't trust the coaching staff to run for 4 quarters, to do the same game plan for 4 quarters. But if they run this game plan, they've got the Vikings, they've got the Lions again next week, who they've already shown that they can beat. But if they play 4 full quarters, you got the Cleveland Browns, who can't score points, but they're pretty good at stopping you from scoring points. Then you got the Arizona Cardinals, who are looking for their, a top draft pick, the Atlanta Falcons, who don't have a quarterback, and then the Green Bay freaking Packers.
False start, offense, the entire offensive line.
I'm going to stab you.
Exhibit A.
I'm going to stab you.
Exhibit A.
If they run this game plan, they will be all right. Isabel has chimed in. She says, even I'm still here.
I'm still here. My little niece.
There you go.
Helping me steal movies. I mean, what?
What?
How do you?
What?
Any part of our show was a Twitter post, we wouldn't spend. Even Elon Musk would kick us off.
Well, we are live on Twitter.
We are.
We're live on Twitter. We're live on Facebook, live on YouTube, and live on Twitch now. So I don't know what incriminating evidence you just had for Isabel. I hope how old is Isabel?
I can't tell you.
All right. Well, Isabel, I hope you're not going to. I hope your uncle didn't just get you involved in some criminal activity. If he did, you let me know. All right. You send me a DM. You send me a message, an email at combsandfitz@gmail.com. You let me know that he got you in
direct messaging my niece.
Knock the fuck out, man. Give me my.
You let me know that he got in trouble, and what I'll do is you and I will come up with a plan, and I will back you up that it was all his idea.
Unbelievable.
You had nothing to do with it. He will do all the prison time.
You seem like you have the character to be.
Don't DM your niece. What do I look like, Josh Gibby to you?
You have the character to be a lawyer. You just sounded like a lawyer there. That seems to fit your character pretty well.
You think I am Josh Gibby? DMing anybody? Except unless it's to send you to prison. Then I'll DM away.
Freaking Brett Favre over here.
I wish I had all that welfare money.
Yeah, all that Mississippi welfare. Mississippi doesn't even have running water, and he's stealing money from them.
Yeah, it's like it'd be like stealing. It would be like stealing, water bottles from Detroit. It's not something that's really good look, But at any rate, it's been fun. It's been Combs and Fitz. I you know what? I owe you a wheel spin, don't I? Let's
get that wheel spin up there. I want to too. I want to see Tina.
I'm gonna do it. We're gonna do before we get out of here. I owe a wheel spin. This week's wheel spin is what is going on with this site? Everything keeps freezing up on me.
Can we get a little Christmas stuff in the background? Get a little festive. What did you eat for Thanksgiving? I mean, what? Anything? I mean, you are an ex-Marine. You think you know a little bit of something, maybe get into a little bit of.
I wish that this site wasn't freezing up on me right now.
Now we've got a man waiting for sentence.
I don't know what's going on. I can't play a video.
Chances with the law.
Can you play a video?
All our lives hang by a thread. Now we've got a man waiting for sentence. But ain't it the truth? You take your chances with the law. Justice is only a roll of the dice, a flip of the coin, a turn of the wheel.
This is the Wheel of Death.
And here we go. All right.
And that is the Wheel of Death. I don't know what's going on with this website today. Everything keeps freezing on me.
All the side videos and advertisements they do on this thing.
Anna says she's going to be the one that will tell you how to get away with it.
All right.
To your niece. So.
Oh, I thought.
No, she's talking about to your niece.
Hiding your body.
Yeah, no.
Oh God, we're clicking it. Okay, 5 cents on the dollar for your Fields merchandise, Doubting Thomas.
Dude, do you know how much Fields merchandise I have? You might have to go take out a loan.
Do you want to know how much the Fields merchandise is going to be when the Bears are the Gary Bears? Gary Indiana Bears.
Oh God. All right, let's spin this wheel. Let's see what I have. Actually, I gotta take the lunch one off because that's still lunch on you. Or no, that's a day of drinkings, right?
Yep.
Oh man, where'd it go? Oh well. Here goes the spin. We're going to go 3 times.
3 times?
Actually, you know what? No, we're going to go once. I'm going to take my punishment on the first damn one.
Here we go. Get it.
Oh, God.
Yes. I got some ideas.
Oh, God.
I got some ideas.
Oh.
I got some ideas. I got a few ideas.
Anyway, guys, it's getting close to kickoff. You guys enjoy the Bears versus Vikings.
Yeah.
Fitz will be spinning next week when the Vikings win. The Bears are going to rip his heart out again tonight. Thank you guys for joining the show. Thank all of you that were listening, whether it was on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, or Twitter. Thank you guys for listening. We love you guys. See you guys next week.